G'day folks, it's the Aussie Traveler here. It's the 14th of October and wow, today is a big day in Indonesia. Today is a huge day. In Indonesia, it's been officially open today for international tourists, and especially those countries that have been invited for stage one for that corridor system. We know that late September, the Minister of Tourism, Creative and Economic Ministry in Indonesia made an announcement that international tourism will begin. Well, today in Indonesia is the official opening day for that. So this is exciting for Indonesia because it's opening up for people to come into Indonesia on a tourist visa. This is so exciting. I've been talking about it, for many shows ago. I started getting wind of this early September, and I started leaking out little tips that this was going to happen. But we've still got one huge announcement to come at the end of this month, and legally I am not allowed to say. But I'm telling you, it is gigantic, and it is going to happen towards the end of this month. So please stay tuned for that. Now, this is stage one. Countries have been invited for a corridor system. We know who they are. They're about to come in. They can come in on a tourist visa with that corridor system and isolate for just 5 days. Let's talk about that. But I want you to stay tuned to the end of the show because I have a big announcement that has been released from today about stage 2 and what countries are going to be invited for that. Stage 2 and what countries are going to be invited. Okay, so it's very clear. You can now enter into Indonesia with a corridor system if you're from one of those countries. Look, my suggestion to you would be talk to an agent. Have a yarn to them. I use an agent. I've been using him for about 5 years. His name is Harry. He's a good friend of mine now. My friends now use Harry, and also some people from this that's been connected to the show is now starting to use his agency. He has an agency there in Jakarta and in Bali. He's registered and insured. That's very important. I'll leave a link down below if you have any questions. He's certainly willing to answer your questions. It's his WhatsApp number. And I'll also leave a link to his app as well. Okay, no more on that. Okay, so if you want to enter Indonesia at the moment, there is a couple of requirements that you have to abide by. We all should know these by now. It simply is you need to upload your vaccination certificate from the country that you've had it. I'll leave the link below to where you've got to upload that to the Indonesian government. You will then need to wait for a green light from them. They will respond with yes you can or no you can't. But at this stage, most countries' vaccinations are being accepted. So let's do that again. You need to upload your documentation to the Indonesian website that I'm going to leave down below so you can add your vaccination certificate to it. Then you need to wait for a reply. Won't take too long. You need that documentation. Next one, you're going to need a statement from your bank showing them how much money you have in your bank. There's no need entering Indonesia if you got no money. So it's simple. Just send them a picture of how much money you have in your bank. The next one is your PCR test. You need to have one done 72 hours before you enter into the country from your country. So before you leave your country, 72 hours before you land in Jakarta, get a PCR test. Have it negative. And then when you arrive, you can show them that. And then you'll have to do more negative tests, PCR tests after that. The next one you're going to have is insurance. No problems now. A month ago was a problem, but now there's insurance companies coming on board all over the place. Even if you book through your airline, they will probably offer you now a insurance policy for Indonesia. That's not that difficult to do. Okay, also the last one, your passport. It used to be that you had to be 6 months in to be valid, but now you have to be 12 months valid into your passport. So make sure that when you enter into Indonesia that you have 12 months left on your passport. Okay, then there's going to be no more problems. Righto, let's have a look at this big one, the one I'm excited to tell you about. Stage 2. Who's going to be invited for stage 2? Let's have a look. Right, this is about to be starting to be announced very soon about stage 2. Now, first of all, let's make this clear. At the moment, when you land in Indonesia, you do have to isolate. It's not 8 days. To the haters out there, it's not 8 days. It's been dropped down to 5 days. Okay? 5 days. This is an experiment. I spoke to them a couple of times this week and they've told me that this is their protocol. They are looking at this very, very closely. They understand that this is very, very serious to their economy. So they know that 5 days is still quite long. But for stage 1, you're gonna have to isolate for 5 days. This may change at the end of the month after this stage 1 process begins. They just want to see how it works and how the protocols are all in place. That's what they told me. Also, it may drop from 5 days down to 3 days. That may happen as soon as the end of the month, depending on the protocols and the testing procedures they have in place. You never heard this from me, folks, but what I'm saying is it may drop to 3 days by the end of the month. Cross your fingers. That may happen. Now, who is going to be invited into Indonesia in stage 2? Let's have a look. Okay, this is starting to circulate already. This is starting to be released. So this is not bullcrap to all you haters out there. This is actually happening. Do what I do. Call the Ministry of Tourism Indonesia. Call the Ministry of Tourism in your country. Have a talk to them. Don't just read your social medias. Don't just Google. Do the work if you must. But you'll find exactly the same information is what I'm finding, okay? Let's have a look. Stage 2. Who's going to be invited into stage 2? Here it is. Okay? From the Ministry of Tourism in Indonesia, this is what they've announced. Stage 2. For the next stage 2 corridor system into Indonesia will be Hungary, France, Spain, Poland, the Netherlands, Great Britain, Italy, Singapore, Austria, Germany, Belgium, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Russia, and Australia. Yeah, we're in there. Stage 2. Australia will be invited for the corridor system into stage 2. When's this going to happen? Well, it may happen as soon as by the end of the month. This is the information that I'm getting through, that these countries are going to be invited in stage 2 after stage 1 testing procedures have been tested and they are approved. That means that as long as everything goes smoothly and everything seems to be running right, they'll go into stage 2, which means these countries are going to be part of that corridor system. Now, I told you last show that Australia and Indonesia governments were talking about this system, and we know that international travel is about to begin for Australia. I know a lot of people think that March is when we're going to be going into Indonesia, but as I told you a few shows ago, that may change. I already have made contact with 2 leading travel agencies here in Australia, and they have made it quite clear that they are putting together already holiday packages into Indonesia. That's happening in the background right now. They wouldn't be doing that if they didn't have word that things are going to open up. So stay tuned for that. Once that starts hitting the television systems and the radio shows and the networks that holidays are about to begin in Indonesia, then the whole thing is going to be open. But what I'm telling you is right now, 2 major travel agencies here in Australia are putting together already holiday packages into resorts, airline flights, all that sort of thing is happening in the background right now as we speak. That is going to be announced really, really soon. The other big one is Air Asia. Air Asia has made it quite clear to me that they are about to open up major flights in and out of Indonesia. So that's also very promising. They haven't given me any information yet, and it hasn't been documented, but Air Asia is about to start their major flights in and out to many countries around the world into Indonesia. So this is also big, good news. Now, let's have a look at those countries once again. Here we go. The corridor system for stage 2 into Indonesia is going to be Hungary, France, Spain, Poland, the Netherlands, Britain, Italy, Singapore, Austria, Germany, Belgium, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Russia, and Australia for stage 2 into Indonesia. That information is going to start be released. It was actually released to me about a week ago, but we weren't allowed to say anything until the 14th of October, which is today. So yes, I think I'm allowed to announce it. Well, I have already. So that is stage 2, okay? Please have a talk to an agent. If you haven't got an agent, look at my link below. Ask them any question that you want. They are really excited about bringing people back into Indonesia. They really do need it. And I'm waiting for my Bali experience to happen, and I'm sure you are. So wherever you are in the world, please think positive. Indonesia is opening up. It is opening up from today, legally, but it also is opening up to more countries. More and more announcements are happening every day. But there is one big one happening at the end of the month. And I can't say, I wish I could, but there is something major happening. Okay? Your country is opening up into Indonesia, and I hope it's either this first stage or the second stage. So please, let's be excited and let's start planning about entering into Indonesia like it used to be in the good old days.